Hey, how are you? I'm SliceofOtaku, and in this video, we'll be continuing our discussion of upcoming Steven Universe episode titles and descriptions courtesy of Zap2It. In the last video, we talked about alternate timelines and threats to Beach City, so if you missed that one, go ahead and check it out. But yeah, with this one, we're going to be focusing on the episode titled Letters to Lars, described as such. Steven writes about the latest news of Beach City. So as far as I'm concerned, this pairing of title and description is the clearest and most straightforward of the four we received, and Steven is going to be writing letters to Lars about the current events of Beach City. Now, this is a bit peculiar to me for what I suppose may be considered a negative reasoning. Based solely on the titles and minuscule descriptions we have of these episodes, most of them sound like experiences we've already had within the show, but slightly reworked. Now once again, allow me to stress that this observation is solely based on what we have right now, as such an issue will probably absolve itself when we actually see this new content. But I don't know, when we talked about pool hopping, it sounded like a far less grounded version of the episode Future Vision. But I will say that I am appreciative of that case in particular, mostly because of how Steven has matured since. The likelihood of him losing his mind again is very low because of how much he has grown over the course of the series. But I will say that with the episode Letters to Lars, however, I can't help but thinking of how redundant letter writing to Lars sounds when Steven can quite easily just pop in wherever Lars is by means of Lion's Mane, just like he and Connie did in the episode Lars of the Stars. And in that case, they brought him a care package his parents made and told him about Sadie and such, which was effective, I guess, unless you consider his disgraceful breakdown. But why would letters be any different from that? Like, why would letters not cause that chain reaction? For me, the concept of this sounds a lot more sensical if Steven isn't the only one writing a letter. Maybe it could be a collective community initiative, which could serve to encapsulate the current shift in the togetherness of the Beach City residents. But it could even just be from the likes of Steven, Sadie, and his parents, maybe even the cool kids. But who knows? Regardless, if letters are being made, then we already know that Steven will have to deliver them. So yeah, returning to the Sun Incinerator yet again. And if these letters aren't just dumped out through Lars's hair at the end of the episode or something, then the whole delivery process will be within an episode of its own, which is a pretty boring basis for an episode, so some additional spice will likely be added, which leads into another episode we will be talking about, so look out for that one. Anyways, in terms of what Steven will be writing about, we know it pertains to Beach City current events, but prior to this episode, at the most we'll have one episode of current Beach City happenings for Steven to write about. And Lars already knows about the whole Sadie killer situation, so my bet is that we'll likely be informed about what's going on with this episode as Steven writes or prepares to write to Lars. And like I said in my earlier video about the future of Beach City, which you should definitely check out, Beach City is currently undergoing its biggest change ever due to the Nanafois regime. So us as the audience learning about what's going on within the world could be really enjoyable, unlike how it may have been at any point before because of how Beach City content is considered to be filler and such. Like, notice how ever since Nanafois' election with the episode Dewey Wins, the only true Beach City episode we have is Sadie Killer, which is already addressed to Lars. Gemcation, a vacation home. Racing the Barn, the countryside. Back to the Kindergarten, the Prime Kindergarten. Kevin Party, Kevin's house. And at the beginning of Lars of the Stars, nothing is said about what things are like currently, so I'm hoping for some cool stuff here. Guys, let me know your expectations for this episode in the comments, along with what you think a letter from Sadie to Lars would be like at this particular point. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.